Hi, I'm a Marwadi who dropped out of engineering. Just one exam away from my degree. The reason is, I went to see a movie, Dil Hai Ki Manta Nahi, with my girlfriend then and wife now. Such was the state of my heart then, continues to remain now. Now this story may sound very exciting, romantic and unorthodox, but honestly, it's not more than my inability to clear my exams. Let's take two other scenarios here. My brother visits me regularly from Pune. My mother, who is in audience, is fonder of my brother. She denies this, but it's evident because she volunteers to cook every time he is in town. So typically when the food is laid on the table, my mother will call out for all of us. My brother, our wives, and I are quick to respond because we can hear her voice even out of discordant mixture of sounds. But our children are deaf to her calls. Their senses are loyally committed to their telephone screens. I mean, let me give it to them. They would be also oblivious to the sounds of parting drunken elephants in the next room. These screens make them comatose narcoleptics. In another scenario, an academically well-handed nephew of mine had his boards a couple of years ago. On my bed, I gave him ready reckoners, those solved question papers, Palmera keys, a bag full of reference which a student might find difficult to accumulate. So one day, when I went to visit him, I saw that bag lying unused, unopened, and idling at the same spot. My cousin complained that all the time her son was plugged on the phone. The chances of him getting good grades were very low. Not only did he not study during the day, he was comfortably chilling in the night as well. Now these parents, they are funny lot. These parents are convinced that their child is laboring only when they catch them burning midnight oil. The child must ruminate and consume only curriculum. The child must isolate himself from all human pleasures and from social outings. Well, turns out, this nephew of mine scored 96%, probably addition of both his parents' percentages during their boards. The man had downloaded entire audio version of his curriculum. He planned his time so well that he was free, relaxed, and saving that midnight oil. Now, in both these instances, technology is new age, but that itself doesn't qualify it to be progressive or unorthodox. Its usage and context does. The same technology can lead us to addiction or management. And the very same technology is helping us plan and shape our oncoming event. Let me show you a small video here. Willy, journey, story is steering story. This is a friends and family mounted, amateurishly made video. However, it should convey a point. My longtime friend Sudeep and I will be soon embarking on a worldwide journey, driving to 60 countries. Now, this idea about ride and worldwide drive is far too consuming for me, so I'm going to center my talk around it while addressing the topic of orthodoxy. Steering story, as we call this event, is drive across 4 continents: Asia, Europe, Latin America, and North America, covering 70,000 kilometers in 300 days. This isn't an airy-fairy idea that came to us on a lazy Sunday afternoon. We have precedents. For past decade or so, we have been doing long-distance cycling, motorbike road trips, that is Muri Plains on Himalayas, trekking and summiting, that is Jagatsuk, and marathons. This trip is extension of all that, although on a larger canvas. We are trying to stretch our limits and push our envelope a still further. The sentiment behind the journey is celebrate life. So what, 4 or 5 months ago, when I announced it to my friends and family that I am planning to undertake this trip, I got these typical responses. My wife said, "Oh bhai, pagal thai gyo che ke? Have you lost it?" My other family members and friends gave their own mind, 2 bits. But why? Why do you want to do it? Sure, it must be your midlife crisis. Someone said, "Boss, I'm telling you, have an affair. It's less complicated." And the classic, "Darling, drive to Lonavala, eat in Kamath and come back. Why all so much drive?" So then why are we doing it? The simple answer is that we believe it can be done. And there is no reason why we shouldn't be doing it. For the same reason why an author would write a book or a filmmaker produces a film. Both are convinced and passionate about their content. And also maybe probably one more reason that I can tell my son, "Beta, maine duniya dekhi hai. Darling, I've seen the world." There is no company or organization which is commissioning us. There is no virtuous angle, no deep causes, no high moral posturing, no profiteering. This is a personal endeavor, just like Taj Mahal was a personal endeavor. Any socially relevant movement starts as a personal endeavor. People find merit in it and join in. A lot of man hours have been spent on planning for this trip. First is to make the roadmap ready, to check the border protocols, to understand the cultural, regulatory, and customary practices of each country. They are all unique. Bhutan, for example, is a non-smoking country. Bolivia has restrictions in selling fuel to a foreigner. China insists on its own number plate and driving license to drive across that country. Guatemala and El Salvador do not permit right-hand cars on their roads. Drones are banned in a handful of countries. Now the purpose. What is the purpose of this trip? During the journey, we will call upon eminent people in each country. They may be a musician, an artist, an RJ, a social entrepreneur, an activist, a farmer, an educationist, a mixed bag. They are all illustrious in their fields, making significant contribution to society. They are instrumental in bringing change and progress to our lives. We are going to meet them, shadow them maybe a day or half, ask them questions, vlog them, and get them to public domain. Let the world know what inspires these inspiring. Sudhir and I are regular men with our everyday lives. We both have our day jobs to pay our bills and feed our families. Passion also isn't penniless. Conventional wisdom would have asked us to stay put in our jobs. 300 days of departing from the familiar is filled with risk, but not taking risk is also risky. If you aspire, fewer pursue, and the fewest achieve. This trip is about any regular person who aspires to pursue his or her passion out of the conventional wisdom. If we sit on an idea, we stand for it and steer it to reality. Now let me sum up all what I have said and all those fragmented anecdotes in context to orthodoxy. By end of this talk, I must tell you something profound, as I want to be invited again here. Let me simplify unorthodox for you. Unorthodox need not be dramatic. My bunking one paper during my final exam is the case in point. Unorthodox does not necessarily mean deviating from norms or cliches. They both exist because they yet work. Unorthodox is not about timeline. Mahabharata is the account of timeless human greed. The book is a classic and yet relevant. Unorthodox must be weighed only for its outcome. The technology we spoke about is not the technology, but the usage and context of technology that must be weighed and judged for orthodoxy. Same conventional paintbrushes and paints were used to create Mona Lisa. A faster operating system or a smaller storage device is just a numeric if it doesn't serve larger human interest. Unorthodox may well be sum total of small orthodox steps. This worldwide drive and the ride we are talking about may sound very challenging to you and radical to you, but if you break it down into small pieces, it's nothing short of good old planning. Unorthodox just means ability to bring and adapt to change. A change or an idea that brings progress intellectually, emotionally, economically, or spiritually is unorthodox. Thank you.